The Amish toothpaste recipe. What's actually true? You're standing in your bathroom holding a tube of toothpaste with a long list of ingredients you probably can't pronounce. Whitening agents, foaming agents, preservatives, artificial sweeteners. Meanwhile, in Amish communities across Pennsylvania, Ohio, and New York, families have been making their own tooth powder at home for generations, using 4 ingredients from the kitchen. I want to walk you through what that recipe actually is, what the real research says about it, and where the story about it usually gets exaggerated, because it does get exaggerated a lot online. Let's start with the recipe itself, since this part is simple and it's real. The base is baking soda, about 1 teaspoon. Baking soda is a mild abrasive, so it helps lift plaque off the tooth surface, and it also neutralizes acid in the mouth. When bacteria break down sugar, they produce acid, and that acid is what erodes enamel over time. Baking soda raises the pH back toward neutral. This isn't folk theory. It's the same mechanism dentists point to when they explain why baking soda shows up in some commercial toothpaste formulas too. The second ingredient is fine sea salt, about half a teaspoon. Salt has a mild antibacterial effect, and a saltwater rinse is a well-established home remedy for gum irritation. The same reason a dentist might tell you to rinse with warm salt water after a procedure. It draws out some inflammation through basic osmosis. The third ingredient is a small pinch of turmeric. Turmeric contains curcumin, which has been studied for anti-inflammatory properties in a number of clinical contexts, including some early research on gum inflammation. The evidence here is real, but still limited. It's promising, not proven, and it's a supporting ingredient, not a cure. The fourth is a few drops of clove essential oil. This one has the deepest history. The active compound, eugenol, has been used for tooth pain for centuries across multiple cultures, and it's still used in modern dentistry today. It's an ingredient in some professional dental cements and temporary filling materials, and dentists have used oil of cloves as a topical analgesic since long before modern anesthetics existed. Its numbing and mild antibacterial effect is genuinely well documented. Mixed together, these 4 ingredients cost close to nothing. A jar of baking soda, salt, turmeric, and a small bottle of clove oil will run you somewhere around $2 total, and the clove oil bottle alone lasts a long time since you only need a few drops per batch. Now here's where I want to slow down, because a lot of videos about this topic, and I mean a lot, I found several nearly word-for-word versions of this same story, take that real recipe and wrap it in claims that don't hold up. One version of this story cites a 2017 University at Buffalo study. In claims, it contains a hidden sentence proving Amish elders have some secret dental habit that keeps their teeth for a lifetime. I looked up that actual study. It's real. It's a 2017 paper by Masahiro Hama, Mark Allen Harrison, and Peter Milgram, published through Case Western Reserve University's Pediatric Dentistry Department, titled Oral Health and Medical Conditions Among Amish Children. But it says close to the opposite of what gets claimed. The researchers found that of the Amish children examined at a mobile dental clinic, 27.8% had never received dental treatment in their lives, and the average child had 6.8 untreated, decayed teeth. The paper is about a real access to care gap, not a secret to perfect teeth. There's no hidden sentence on page 9. That detail doesn't exist in the paper. That doesn't mean there's nothing to the broader idea, though. A separate, earlier study is worth knowing about. A 1985 University of Michigan study by R.A. Bagramian, published in a peer-reviewed dental journal, looked at oral health among Amish adults and children in southwest Michigan. That one did find something genuinely notable. Decay scores among Amish children were roughly half the national average of the time, and a measure of oral hygiene status was about 3.6 times better than the national sample. That's a real, citable finding. And it lines up with what a lot of people intuitively expect from a lower sugar, less processed traditional diet, not from a secret ingredient. I also can't verify some of the historical claims that circulate with this story. A supposed 1793 letter from a named bishop describing yellow fever and dental health, or a traveling 19th century dentist's journal complaining he couldn't find enough decay in Amish communities to stay in business. These details show up across several different retellings of this same script online, worded almost identically, and I couldn't trace any of them to an actual archive, letter, or journal. I'd treat them as invented color, not history. The same goes for the claim that a toothpaste manufacturer partnered with the American Dental Association in 1914 to push commercial toothpaste and berry homemade recipes. The ADA itself was founded in 1859 in Niagara Falls, New York. That part is accurate and easy to verify. But I found no record of this specific 1914 partnership described in this kind of video. Commercial toothpaste marketing did expand heavily through the 20th century for ordinary commercial reasons, but that's a different claim than a coordinated effort to suppress a known home remedy. One more claim worth correcting. The idea that sodium lauryl sulfate, the foaming agent in most commercial toothpaste, is the same chemical used in industrial degreaser. SLS is a detergent, and it can be irritating for some people with sensitive gums or mouths prone to canker sores, which is a legitimate reason some people choose SLS-free toothpaste. But it isn't a degreaser, and describing it that way overstates the concern. So where does that leave you? If you want to try the recipe, it's genuinely reasonable to try. Mix 1 teaspoon of baking soda with half a teaspoon of fine sea salt, add a small pinch of turmeric, and stir in 3 to 5 drops of clove essential oil. Store it in a small jar and dip a damp toothbrush in it. Some people like it as an occasional or supplemental option. Others use it alongside their regular toothpaste rather than instead of it. What I wouldn't do is treat it as a replacement for fluoride toothpaste or regular dental checkups, especially for cavity prevention. Fluoride's role in reducing cavities is one of the most well-established findings in dental research, and none of the 4 kitchen ingredients here replace that specific mechanism. If you have gum inflammation, tooth pain, or visible decay, this recipe is not a substitute for seeing a dentist. The real takeaway isn't a conspiracy story. It's simpler than that. Traditional home remedies for oral care, baking soda, salt, clove oil, have real documented value as supportive tools, and a lower sugar diet does seem to matter for dental outcomes, based on that 1985 Michigan study. But the version of this story that claims a hidden study, secret elders, and a suppressed 200-year-old cure is not something the actual research supports, and it's worth being skeptical of any video, including plenty of others covering this exact topic, that tells you otherwise.